Let's talk tariffs. The trade battle between the U.S. and China is ramping up, with Beijing promising to fight to the end. That is really amping up.
Yeah, that's scary sounding. And today on Capitol Hill, the U.S. Trade Representative is going to testify in defense of the tariffs that have rattled global markets going on a second week.
Brooke Singman joins us now with all the details. Hey, Brooke.
Hey guys, good morning. Jamieson Greer will appear before the Senate Finance Committee today to defend Trump's tariffs. So he will say in prepared remarks, quote, "Our large and persistent trade deficit has been over 30 years in the making, and it will not be resolved overnight, but all of this is in the right direction. This adjustment may be challenging at times. It is a moment of drastic overdue change, but I am confident the American people will rise to the occasion as they have done before." Meanwhile, President Trump is threatening to impose a 50% tariff on imports from China starting tomorrow. That is, if Beijing fails to withdraw its 34% retaliatory tariffs by today. But China is not backing down. Its Commerce Ministry warning that, quote, "The U.S. threat to escalate tariffs on China is a mistake on top of a mistake, and once again exposes the blackmailing nature of the U.S. China will never accept this. If the U.S. insists on its own way, China will fight to the end." If Trump follows through, the total cumulative tariff on China would be a staggering 104%. Despite the sharp sell-offs on Wall Street and global markets, President Trump, though, is calling for patience. And he's come up with a new name for tariff critics, posting on Truth Social, quote, "The United States has a chance to do something that should have been done decades ago. Don't be weak, don't be stupid, don't be a panickin," a new party based on weak and stupid people. Be strong, courageous, and patient, and greatness will be the result. Guys, back to you.
Ever heard the word panicking before?
It's an invention.
Panic in.
It's a combo of weak and stupid.
Don't be one.
So the Dow futures, thank you, Brooke. The Dow futures were up 700 points. There's a sense that maybe the president's looking to do a deal. And Scott Bessent indicated yesterday, hey, I am looking to do that. And I'm going to give Japan first dibs. They contacted us first. And then on top of that, the EU said, I have a great idea. Let's just make it zero tariffs. But the president said no to that. We've got too many other imbalances between cars and not taking our cows and our meat. We'll deal with that. But it shows things are going in the right direction. Maybe that's what the market thinks.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, too. Yesterday, did you hear what he said about Iran? He has negotiations with Iran coming up this Saturday. They have a high-level negotiation with Iran on a potential nuclear deal.
Well, and yesterday, the markets finished flat simply because he finally sounded like he was open for a deal, because there's been so much uncertainty ever since Liberation Day that people have been trying to figure out how big are the tariffs and how long are they going to last? Are they going to be just until we make a deal, or will they be permanent? Because some on the president's team have said they're going to be permanent. But Scott Bessent yesterday said essentially, it's time for Monty Hall to make a deal. Watch this.
I haven't seen anything from them, but Larry, I can tell you that there are 50, 60, maybe almost 70 countries now who have approached us. So it's going to be a busy April, May, maybe into June. And Japan is a very important military ally. They're a very important economic ally. And the U.S. has a lot of history with them. So I would expect that Japan's going to get priority, just because they came forward very quickly. But it's going to be very busy. And if President Trump, again, gave himself maximum negotiating leverage, and just when he achieved the maximum leverage, he's willing to start talking.
Well, that's going to be interesting because Japan and Israel yesterday, Benjamin Netanyahu says, follow my lead. I'm down to zero. It's going to could have cost us $34 billion. Roughly, we'll take a $34 billion hit if the 17% tariff level go into effect. But Japan, Vietnam, the EU, Cambodia, Italy individually, the UK, they're amongst the 70 countries that Bessent said have contacted us to do a deal. And if you see the market responding like this on the rumors of a deal, and then yesterday they erroneously thought that Kevin Hassett told us that he's entertaining a 60-day pause, and the market went back like 500 points for about 15 minutes, you could see how quickly everything would bounce back. And in the end, if people could see what Trump is doing now, he's holding out for the best deal possible, perhaps, even though the New York Post says in the editorial section, start doing a deal, Mr. President. He is staring them down Clint Eastwood style in order to get the maximum deal possible, knowing that China is the main focus, but he's gotten the world's attention to reconfigure trade. Everybody's paying attention now. Nobody can ignore it.
I was down in Florida over the weekend. I saw the president, and he is single-minded. He is in no mood to cave on anything he's doing right now. The problem is, for all the people who are terrified to look at their 401ks, is they want to know, okay, so right now you can see the Dow futures are up 643. How far is it going to go back up, and how long is it going to take? I was at a town event down in South Florida over the weekend, and I met this guy, and he's a retired banker. And I asked him about the tariffs, because at that event, everybody was talking about the tariffs, because everybody's on a fixed income for the most part, and they were talking about how they're impacted. He said, you know, I'm on a pension, and the pension amount doesn't change. But I looked at my 401k, and I am so underwater now. And he had the look of a guy, he was probably in his 80s. He's hoping that this all works and it all comes back.
And imagine if it does work and it comes back.
Well, that would be great, but he's broke right now.
In a huge way. Well, he probably has other money coming in, right? Is
he
just
money.
Relying on that? Okay. So, but Trump did say, we need to be strong, we need to be courageous, and we need to be patient. Just let him do his thing. And he said he's not considering the pause on tariffs, because remember Bill Ackman, you were talking about that yesterday, said he should consider that 90-day timeout. Yeah. He said he's not going to do that. In fact, he's doubling down on China. China has these retaliatory tariffs, and he said if you don't get rid of those, then I'm going to tariff you another 50%. So that could be as much as 104%.
Right. It's Tariff Tuesday.
And you know what Apple said? We're going to move a lot of our production to India.
To India, right.
That's exactly the hope. We got to pull the American companies out of that
Well, they
country.
should move it to the United States.
Much easier. Better.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.